I think that's a big question.
Now let's say which region is currently leading and what factors
It's,
contribute to their success?
yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say which region is leading. Do you mean in terms of AI development or governance?
AI development.
Well, yeah, AI
It's a
development.
big risk. I mean, among superpowers, China
Yeah,
want to be the AI leader for the world, and
I
the
mean,
Philippines.
undoubtedly, in terms of AI development, that's the US. That's incontrovertible. But the thing is, the debate is a lot more nuanced than that. In that. Obviously the US leads in terms of, developing cutting edge models, powerful AI systems. Um, but we need to kind of think about this in the long run, right? And this is a debate I had with one of my lecturers last week where I'd said, well, basically I think, China is lagging behind in the US in terms of AI development. And, made a very important point around it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at models and outputs, certainly you think of the US and even with compute, right? It's I mean, we always think of the US because it's got all the, it has access to, critical supply chain networks of, semiconductors, for example, or just GPUs generally. But when it comes to energy, actually, and power, which will be very crucial for AI, it will be so important. Energy, power, critical minerals that would, obviously go into your compute systems. China is leading in this, right? But again, leading is kind of a very dicey word to use depending on exactly on really on what
Okay,
you're
let's
looking
look at it from
at.
this
You also
point.
have to think about cost efficiency, right? Which is a very big thing. DeepSeek is a big lesson for all of us in that. I mean, like how getting just a group of 10 to 20 researchers together who are able to do what you the US needs hundreds of or thousands of people to do
To do.
in less than the time in 6 months and probably 1/3 of the cost. I think this changes the conversation a
So
lot in
whatever
terms of,
kind, we have to look at quality as well. But let
yeah.
me put it this way. Do you foresee a unified global AI standard? Or
I,
will regional differences persist?
I mean, regional differences will certainly persist because, like, one thing, one. So when we talk about AI policy, the mistake we tend to make, especially those of us who work in AI governance, like we try to treat it as something. I mean, AI is very exceptional. It's peculiar in so many different ways. But the frameworks and the thinking around how governments respond to it basically don't change, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same cutthroat competition we see with EV competition. So semiconductors itself, like which is not just peculiar to AI, right? Semiconductors are using all types of, ICT hardwares, and even energy generally. So I don't foresee a coalesce of interest generally. That's simply because history tells us that's not been the case in so many things. There are only very few things countries have, and again, that depends on how you're defining cooperation, right? But I guess I suppose the point you're trying to make is whether there would be one standard
Standard.
system. For example, the way we have the CERN, CERN for the regulation of nuclear weapons.
What I
I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening anytime
Okay,
soon. And
that's
again, the
great.
nuclear weapon points, yeah.